Hello everyone. My name is Mohammad Wahabi. I am a 20 years old aspiring writer and self-acclaimed global citizen from Morocco. And I'm an aspiring writer. I'm not used to public speaking, so please bear with me. The most inspiring person in my life is my grandmother. I can imagine I would have been standing today here. I can imagine I would have become the person I'm today without growing up listening to my grandmother's story. A widow at a young age, left with many kids to feed, and greedy old man trying to take away from her the land that was her everything. A long journey of struggle, fight, disappointment, and blood, but she finally managed to win the war and get her land back. I've always wondered, how come that a poor and educated woman, an uneducated woman, fight such an outrageous war against a squad of powerful and cunning men in a community that gives no voice, no importance to women or justice. My grandmother is a storyteller. She knew so many great stories, stories coming from our ancestors, stories of all times, stories about hope, about passion, about justice, about freedom, about people who explore so many universes. And those stories instilled in her mind and heart passion and power to go on and fight her war and get her land back. I've not only learned from my grandmother how to be a storyteller, I've also learned from her how to aspire not only to be a storyteller, not only to be a story consumer, but also to be a hero in my own story, a story that my grandmother tells every time she finds listening ears and brave hearts. And I was always that listening ear to her, just asking so many questions. And one day I aspired to write a book about her life and let the world know about her. And that experience with my grandmother, I'm 20 years old, and all these 20 years old, there has been no month I don't talk to my grandmother, and sometimes I listen to her stories over and over and over, and I can't get over them. Because they always have something new, always a new perspective, always some wisdom that I get to understand. And in my NGO, Lotus Association for Culture and Creativity, we have a program where we teach creative writing to girls from rural and underprivileged areas in Morocco. And I was the instructor for that program, and at first they were making fun of me. They're thinking that I'm that nerd who only knows about writing, who is introducing them to a universe that they have never thought of being introduced to, and telling them about something that they are not used to. They were indifferent, they were careless, and I was disappointed. So I gave them a creative writing assignment where they should write anonymous letters to someone where they can say whatever they want. Surprisingly enough, actually I had no expectations at all, to be honest, but surprisingly enough, those letters were filled with unspoken words, inspiring personal stories, dreams, passions. These girls were destined for a life where they only have a husband and kids to take care of and nothing beyond that. But in those letters, they aspired to become doctors, lawyers, businesswomen. Others wanted to explore the world, swoop into the sky, or just have a chance to go to college. And that experience I learned so much in terms of to what extent these girls, when they got to write out their dreams, which they would never tell to anyone because they were afraid they would make fun of them since they have no support whatsoever. And by writing those dreams out, they visualized them coming and they saw their future, and they are thinking now that it's only a few steps further, and now they are writing more stories, telling everybody about what they aspire to be, what is the person they wanted to be in the future. And as part of my mission in Morocco to encourage and to introduce youth to creative writing, I have founded a creative writing camp called the Olive Writers. It's in its first edition now. And the program aims to teach creative writing courses and to young Moroccans and introduce them to literature and to creative writing and to word literature, to translation, journalism, and while being guided by pioneers in the field. Workshop participants will be guided by females who are pioneers in the fields, who are capable women with established reputations and writer, and by this, male and female participants both will have strong female models to look up to follow on their leads, like I had my grandmother to follow on her lead. And this program also intends to be a safe space built on values of love, equality, respect, tolerance, and we hope that these values will take root beyond the confines of the program, and that our participants will be storytellers and ambassadors of these values to their local communities and the wider world, and to reflect on these values in their writings. My grandmother is a storyteller. I'm a storyteller, and I hope my kids will be storytellers. And I really want people to understand to what extent stories can change lives, to what extent, and also it's not only about the telling of the story, it's also about the demonstration of one's existence, to say to the people that we are unique in our own selves. We have something to tell, we have stories to share, and by that it's a very liberating feeling for them, and they'll recognize their passion, their place in earth, and what they can give, and this will be very empowering to them. Thank you so much.